So in the last video, I talked about, one string here, talked about how all these electrical hookups are basically aligned and installed at the same time. So the electrical contractor comes out and goes fast. We determine who starts first when it comes to these trays and utilities based on who's the deepest. So in this case, this scenario, the electricity is the deepest. So he went first. Next is septic. So we see right here on the ground our trunk lines. Trunk lines is carrying the septic, it's carrying the waste to where? To the septic field, which is over here. There's also these trash tanks as well, which are going to be burying deeper, which you can see in the back. If you have any experience, you notice how they're too high above the ground. So we're going to have to install a pump system. Here's the perforated pipe, okay? So here's what it looks like. It's got these little holes in it, okay? So essentially this is a gravity system, conventional system, that the waste will, through a gravity flow, hit these pipes with holes in them and go into the dirt. And it will be processed by Mother Nature. There's a lot more to it that I'm sure I don't know. I'm still learning. But there's stuff called trash tanks that these do fill up over time. You have to get those pumped. So imagine over time, like most of the fluid going towards that septic field back there, and the waste building up there, and you know, a certain amount of times per year you have to get that waste pumped out. It's a pretty standard practice, pretty common. Whenever we were lining out spaces here, we actually use these little makeshift fake PVC pipes. You put them in one big line. It's a 40-foot space. It was a good way for us to determine where we should put spaces based on the actual, not just plans, but the actual park itself. Because there is, if you see some trees in some areas, so we had to move around some spaces. So that's really important, so we had to do that. One thing we started off doing was we actually moved a big chunk of our spaces to the east. So we took our stakes and moved them over, and we used a pink line, which you can see here, to mark the roadway, okay? And kind of get a feel too, is like, can folks actually turn around with an RV trailer? Is our road wide enough, right? We had to make some changes. So temporary dirt is being piled up, stockpiled over here. And the reason for that is because there's a lot of dirt work involved when you're clearing out land. So a lot of waste, but you still want to use some of that dirt sometimes to backfill certain areas. So we're keeping it here for in case we need it, of course. Here's a good shot of we're calling it phase 1 of development. Our spaces are going to kind of come in here, and each one of these electrical outputs, you see where it's going. There's the corner of the property over there. There's 2 trash tanks. We're going to be burying those, adding a pump. There's another one back over here. And then beyond that excavator is the septic field. Okay, it's kind of the big, like, it's in the middle of the park, kind of separates the 2 sides of the park. Our electrical setup is right here, and there's another one behind it. Apparently we're going to be like transitioning, and it takes like 2 hours to do that. So we're going to have it'll be an interesting day of moving RVs. But so our goal is to move all the current tenants to the new beautiful spaces, and then we immediately start construction on the front side of the park. So that's an update, kind of an interesting project, really fun. It's nice being out here. Something about Mother Nature, baby. It's a beautiful thing.